Hey YouTube friends, welcome to my December houseplant tour and update. I'm so excited to share this video with you today. I've been really looking forward to making it. So in today's video, we're going to do a bit of a walk around our house. I'm going to show you some of my favorite plants for the year, some of my new plants. Some of it's good, some of it not so good. Some lessons learned in there definitely as well. As usual in my videos, I'll also try and share with you some planty tips along the way. And also, so just as I started filming this video, a package arrived and it feels like a book. And in November, I ordered a new planty book because I always love having new planty books around to read. So I'm hoping that it is, and I thought we'll open this together later in the video. Let's begin our plant tour. I'll meet you out the front of our house. I'm re-recording this part of the video actually on New Year's Day because I recorded it all on about the 30th of December and my whole family were home and teenage boys and it was so noisy. And I started pulling down our Christmas decorations this morning and then I realized the house is quiet. My family are out. So the reason I wanted to start out the front is I can't help it. I already showed you guys. I know in the spring update, I've already showed you my elephant ears. These guys went literally from an empty pot. For anyone saw it, like that pot just looked like there was nothing in it in July. I got such bad brown spots. I had to completely cut back all the leaves. And then in October, it finally started sprouting again. And we're the 1st of January today. Look at the size of these leaves. And what you can't tell because you can't see me in the video is this tallest leaf here is actually about my chest height. So I know I've already showed this to you, but it just continues to amaze me. And I just love the color of the stems as well. It's a bit of a contrast there with those dark stems and the leaves. And this is one of the plants that whenever people come to our house, they always comment. And actually my sister's asked me for a propagation, and now that it's much healthier, I'll be able to easily give her one. And the other plant I wanted to show you out here, and I also showed it in my spring update, but same, oh my goodness, look how many flowers are in my peace lily. So there's about it's about 10 about 10 flowers on this. And if you consider back this time last year, we'd been away on holidays, and when I got back it had been absolutely hammered by caterpillars and it was back to sticks, absolute sticks. And then about 3 months ago it got mealybugs. It's just had such a rough run in the last 12 months. So to see it like this, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited and I had to share it with you. And then the other plant I wanted to show you out here is one of my ficuses. I bought 2 plants at the same time. They were actually taller than my elephant ears. And I tried them in about 3 or 4 spots around the house and they just weren't happy. They didn't like living here. So every December I do a plant stock take. I do a bit of a cull, and I actually ended up giving the 2 parent plants away to one of my friends. But I kept 2 of the leaves. And really interesting, have a look down here. Can you see it? So this is one of the leaves and it's not done anything. It's got some roots, but it's never taken off. And this one is the other leaf, which has taken off. And you can see just how tall it's got. And it's got new leaves coming all the time. It is so happy. And it's amazing that this has actually come from the same plant, because it's interesting. The parent plant for this one, my last ditch attempt was actually where this peace lily currently is. And it still wasn't happy. Whereas this one, as I said, same location. It was my final location. And it's just doing so well. It's actually doing so well that just 2 weeks ago, I've had to stake it because it's getting so tall. I couldn't help but show you that, because the parent plants, oh my goodness, I just had so much trouble with them. I've just got a thing about pink variegations in plants. That's just so pretty. All right, conscious that my family can come home anytime, so let's pop back inside. So back into the front entry, I started taking down my Christmas decorations here, and then I realized, hang on, stop taking down the Christmas decorations, start recording the video. So what I wanted to show you here was my orange spider plant. It's actually got a new shoot coming up, which is super, super exciting. This plant for me, it's just so pretty. I absolutely love it. You probably realize this if you've seen any of my other videos. I show it very often. But you know what? It's just been stagnant for so long. And out of all the plants that I own, this one is my mum's favorite. And she's actually asked me for a propagation on more than one occasion. So I'm hoping now that it's in this location with the Guthera, with my finger, with the Guthera grow light, and it's got this new shoot coming, I might actually finally be able to give my mum a propagation out of this plant. So fingers crossed. I'll let you guys know in one of my later updates how this plant's going. And then what else did I want to show you? Yes, if you got to watch my Christmas video, this has gone back to 2 leaves. I'm hoping my aglaonema, it looks like there might be another shoot coming up here. The OG leaf, the very original leaf that this plant came with, I had to clip it off just before New Year's. It finally went yellow. So we're back to 2 leaves, but hopefully I can see there's another shoot coming. So New Year's Day today, we had people over for a barbecue. So I'm just de-peopling today and decompressing after, you know, all the chaos of Christmas and New Year's. But once that's over, I think I'm actually going to put this guy in pond or Mabgrow, Australian Mabgrow, because I've had just so much success with it with some of my other plants. So I might take this guy out of hydro and transition it into pond in the next few weeks. So I'll let you know that in my next update. But I wanted to show you a not so positive story on here as well. Look at this Monstera. So same, it's underneath my Guthrie grow light, which a lot of plants seem to be doing well. I don't know if you can see that. Let me hold it up to the light. Can you see the root system? It's got a really healthy root system. I use my hydroponic fertilizer regularly on it, but it just doesn't fenestrate and it doesn't really grow. So this one's on my list for first quarter 2025. I'll spend a little bit more time watching it and maybe doing something a bit different. So if anyone's got any suggestions for this Monstera, because I've got a few Monsteras around the house that are doing really well, but this guy, not so happy with me. And then of course the next plant I need to show you is the Syngonium, which also I keep showing you in all of my videos. I only discovered Syngoniums. Hang on, I need to stop the video and just let Daisy in. Come on, girl. Back in. Good girl. So thank you to my friend who owns the plant library. She actually just gave me a very small Syngonium, and I just realized how quickly they grow, how easy they are to look after. And this one is just a cutting out of my garden. They've been growing in my garden for a long time and in under the macadamia nut tree, so up the fence behind the macadamia nut tree and in the shade. And I had always just thought of them as an outdoor garden plant, but absolutely fallen in love and actually did in the Boxing Day sales buy myself 2 variegated species of Syngoniums. Oh my goodness, I can't say enough about Syngoniums. I'll have to show you pictures of the 2 that I've just got in the Boxing Day sales, and they were on sale, so I didn't pay full price, and I did actually do a plant cull. So I always try when I'm getting a new plant, because I really do have a lot of plants. I did give a number of my plants away over December for people to give as Christmas presents or just to increase the number they have in their collection. But let me show you this other one. So if we're talking about Syngoniums, I have to show you my newest addition. Actually, I don't know if you guys can see on this. I'm going to turn this grow light off because in my viewer, in my camera, when I have the grow lights on, it flashes. So I hope that's not too dark for you in here. So we're actually, I don't know, is it politically correct to show you guys my toilet on YouTube? I'm not sure. I'll keep the camera higher than the toilet so you don't actually see it. But this is the setup in our main toilet. And the other day I was buying Christmas presents and we're going out for lunch for an extended family Christmas lunch, and I was at my favorite plant nursery, the Plant Shack, getting gifts for people, and one of the lovely employees there that knows me was like, Mel, come and have a look at this, we've just got these, I know you love Syngoniums, check this out. So of course I had to buy it. Look at that. Look at the colour of the leaves, the splash. I love that the leaf is predominantly a light colour and then it's got this dark splash. And I'm not sure without the light on if my camera is picking it up at all, but it's actually pink through the plant as well. So it's called, let me show you that, a green splash. I just love it. I'm so excited. So excited to bring it home. And the funny story with this plant, I purchased this plant and an epipremnum. I did need the epipremnum. I've got a spot in the hallway that I needed it. This I definitely did not need, but could not go past it. So then I had the problem of needing to go out to lunch, and it was like over 30 degrees. And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving my beautiful new plants, particularly this one, in a car that'll heat up to over 40 degrees. So I ended up putting them, I'll show you in the B-roll, I ended up putting it in my handbag. I've got this big recycled denim handbag, and so I popped them in the top, having the tops of the plant sticking out like you would carrying a puppy. And my sister was just like, oh my goodness, Mel, you seriously are bringing plants to lunch now? You've just brought plants to the restaurant. And then my brother-in-law just laughed and said, well, that's just another Mel moment. So I think that plant will always make me smile whenever I look at it. And oh, there's so many plants I want to show you in here. For New Year's, when people were coming in here, everyone was just commenting on this toilet. I'm so lucky to have this Soltec grow light in here. It just has made such a difference. I can grow so many plants in here. But the one I wanted to show you that's not doing so well, so this is one of my Begonia Rexes that came as I was doing my Christmas video, literally got delivered. And I actually had it in my front entry where I just showed you the orange spider plant. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's louvers there and it's this beautiful fresh air, but I actually think the air was too dry. So begonias really do love a bit of humidity, which is why I brought it in here. See the leaves? It's not 100% happy with me. So I'm hoping, oh no, I just ripped a leaf while I'm showing you. I actually think this guy is going to have to move into the ensuite. Well, although this room is attached to our bathroom, it doesn't get quite as much humidity as our ensuite does. And so Look, it's better. It is going better. It's not perfect though. The ends of the leaves are a bit crispy, so I actually think I'm going to show you in the ensuite. I've got no room at the moment, but I'm about to put a shelf up in there. So I think this guy is about to be one of the newest additions in my other room. What else? Oh, I want to show you. So this is a mini Monstera. I'd love to go down lower, but if I go down lower, I'll show you my toilet. So probably from about here. So this plant up here looks amazingly healthy. Like, I am just over the moon happy. You wouldn't believe it. It's a different plant. So I actually have it in my ensuite, which also has the Soltec grow light. It was my last ditch attempt with this plant. If it didn't go well here, I was actually going to give it away to someone else. I was like, okay, I'm just obviously not meant to have a mini Monstera. I tried it in 3 different locations in our house. When I first got it, I put it straight into hydro. So it was growing really beautifully in hydro. And then within about 6 months, its leaves started going yellow. I want to zoom in here without showing you my toilet. Let me see if I can do that. I'm just trying to zoom. I am so not good at it. I'm trying some tricky camera work here so I can show you the bottom of the plant without showing you my toilet. So see down the bottom, where's my finger? Down the bottom, see there's no fenestrations. The leaves were small. They just, it just wasn't growing. Leaves were coming out and just going yellow. And I thought, what am I doing wrong with this plant? Although I did watch some YouTube videos which told me that this guy actually likes to be dried out a little bit more than a normal tropical plant. So I made sure that I was leaving it a little bit longer to water it. It was in my ensuite, it was under the Soltec grow lights, it was in my good soil. I'm like, I don't understand. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to move it into the toilet, same light, same Soltec light, and it has gone bananas. This was where it was at before I moved it into the toilet. And from here up is how much it's grown. And look, fenestrations all over the place just from moving it into the toilet. Amazing. I am so stoked because I absolutely love this plant, and just the fact that it's climbing up the toilet wall makes me so happy. Out of all the plants in this room, this is the plant that people hang on. I can turn my camera back around now because I don't need to show you down lower. Out of all the plants in this room, this is the plant that people comment on when they walk in, and it just makes me so happy because this plant and I have been through about an 18-month journey together for me to find exactly the right combination of how much I water it, how much light, you know, the humidity, all the things. That's been a really good success story. I guess I'm showing you this one because it didn't happen overnight. I really had to work hard, and if this plant didn't work well in this space, it was unfortunately going to have to go just to another home, just like the ficus did, because I'm all about my planting style is I want my plants to grow to the maximum potential. I want them to be happy, but also I'm not lazy plant parent, but I don't want it to take my entire day, every day, looking after plants. So if a plant's not working in my space, I don't hesitate to get rid of them. I'll give them a chance, but then if it's still not working, they are out. I just want to show you 2 up here. So this one is a Philodendron fat boy. And when I got it, it was so tiny. I've got a little one out in the lounge room to show you. And I've actually had it here deliberately under the grow light for the last few months because my sister and I were having coffee at our favorite coffee shop and plant nursery. She was spending her birthday voucher on plants. And she is a fern girl, but she spotted a Philodendron fat boy. It was in with the ferns, with just one plant. And she was really torn between the fat boy and the fern that she got. And so I was like, got one, I didn't tell her. So I've been growing it as much as I could because it was such a small plant, just so that I could give her one for Christmas. And I'll show you out in the lounge room. I've got it out in the lounge room. So I actually was able to propagate this enough to give her one for Christmas. So I was super excited. And then I'm going to have to look up the name. I've forgotten the name of this Philodendron, but my friend last night who came into the toilet commented on all my plants, said to me, can you see, I'm not tall enough to reach up there, but can you see that? The colours underneath the leaves. Just amazing. And I've deliberately put it up on that shelf. I can't even reach, oh yeah, I can just reach the leaf. I've actually deliberately put it up on that shelf because you look up at it, you get to see the pretty colors underneath the leaf. So I think that works really well there as well. So that's probably, we've spent a lot of time in the toilet, and I can only imagine that my voice is echoing in here. Let's go somewhere else in the house that's not so echoey and not in our toilet. Okay, before we go anywhere else, I just wanted to show you the Philodendron fat boy propagation. Hey sis, you're helping Squiddy. Good boy. So down here is the fat boy propagation that I gave my sister. I'm so excited. Let me just pull it out of here. I'll make sure I don't show you her name. I don't think she'll be happy if I show you her name. But I just put it in a red pot for Christmas. I put some twine that's actually fallen off. And so the plant, when I first got the Philodendron, It was smaller than this. Actually, it probably was a size, I'm having trouble one-handed because I'm holding the camera. It probably was like this size. It was like 2 leaves, I think, from memory. And it was so tiny. And so I've had it under the grow lights. And even this one, see, this one's under the grow lights as well. Yes, I've got grow lights everywhere. It was just so exciting to be able to pull this little baby propagation off for my sister. So all of my plants, the majority of my plants are this small. So this is in like a 7 centimeter pot. You can see I've just got it in my normal aroid mix. Actually, that's a bit dry. I'll have to water it today. And I love my aroid mix. It goes really well. The only reason that I don't use it for all of my really small plants like this is in summer, because you can see it's got, oh goodness, I'm really bad at this one-handed. See how it's got the perlite and it's got a bit of leca. I don't always put leca in, just if I've got spare, and it's got some coconut core in there as well. It dries out really quickly. So in summer, a pot this size, I'm watering at least twice a week. As I said, I can feel that's so dry. I'm going to have to water it today. So what I'm doing is all my plants that are really small that I have to water twice a week, I'm actually have transitioned in. It's a variation of pon, P-O-N, called Mabgrow. So here in Australia, it's difficult to get pon, but we can get Mabgrow, which is a Dr. Green Thumb's variation of it. You see here. So I've just got water in the bottom and I've got it in a clear pot so that I can watch the roots. You can get them in different sizes. I've gone for the light size, so I'm using it for my small plants at the moment. I haven't transitioned any of my larger plants into it, so I just thought for their finer roots, their smaller roots, because I'm doing it with smaller plants, and actually it's working really well. I've transitioned pretty much every single one of my plants that is under sort of a 10 centimeter pot size is now in Mabgrow, and oh my goodness, they're going so well, and I'm only having to water them. So I would normally have to water this twice a week in summer if it was in my aroid mix, but I'm only having to water this sort of once every week to week and a half at the moment. It's making such a difference, loving it. And so I've got this Philodendron here as well in the same setup. Just so good, just making my life so much easier. And these are just little makeshift, little DIY self-watering pots that I use. It's just a clear sort of a cover pot or saucer that I get from Bunnings, and then I put it in a clear grow pot because I wasn't sure how this system was going to work. So I thought this way I've got the most control. Like, I don't know how blurry this is for you guys to see. I can see the level of water in here, and I can also see the roots as well. So as I get more used to this system, I'll actually put it in a much prettier cover pot. But for now, this system is working really well for me, and it's saving me so much time in summer as well. Woohoo! So before we go to the other end of the house, I have to just show you over here to this pothos. And it's not that, I mean, the pothos is healthy. I love it. Who doesn't love a pothos? But it's actually this little container that's so exciting because I bought this from an op shop for about 50 cents, like 12 months ago. And I love it. It's just perfect for propagation. See how the neck goes in? Well, for lots and lots of my propagations, I find it a really cute little container. And I've wanted to buy more, but because I got it from an op shop and it was just sitting by itself in with black containers, I didn't know what it was. And then while I was out at the same lunch that I put my plants in my handbag, I ordered a chai tea, my favorite, and it came out with a little black teapot and my milk, lactose-free milk, in this. It's a milk jug. And you guys I'm thinking potentially a number of you are going, Mel, of course it's a milk jug. But I had no idea because I didn't have the context because I'd picked it up from an op shop and it was just sort of sitting off by itself. I hadn't ever pictured it as a milk jug. So now I know what it is. I'm going to keep an eye out for more of them because this has just been such a great container to grow propagations in. I wish I had about 10 of them. When my chai came out, I recognized it straight away and I was so excited. And my family are like, what's so exciting? It's a chai tea. You always order chai tea. I'm like, no, it's not the chai tea. It's the container. And they were like, oh my goodness, Mel, of course it's another plant thing that you're excited about. So I knew you guys would potentially be more excited than my family was about my discovery that this is actually a little milk jug. So cool. And I couldn't have a December, well, it's technically the 1st of January, but I couldn't have an end of year wrap up without showing you my Monstera. Oh, this plant makes me smile every time I look at it. If you could have seen this, when I bought it probably 2 years ago now from Bunnings, it was this sick brown looking plant in behind a whole heap of other plants and I just had to have it. It was so tiny. And yeah, it's definitely my MVP for the year. It just keeps growing and growing. Touch wood, it hasn't given me any pest issues. And it's actually just got so big. In behind here, I used to have a hat stand. I love wearing sort of boho hats and a Cobra hat. But the Monstera, just in the last few months, has got so big, I've had to move the hat stand. And that's amazing. I really wish I could have taken a photo of this guy a few years ago for you just to see the transformation. But yeah, it's really easy. You know, I water it every week to week and a half. It's in my aeroid soil mix. I've chosen not to put it on. You can see I've just got it on just a standard pole. So it's just the timber pole with a bit of core wrapped around it. I've chosen not to go with a moss pole. I've watched so many YouTube videos on it, and I actually purchased some moss poles for it because I am all about giving my plants growing to their maximum potential. But I keep hearing people talk about the maintenance of moss poles and having to water them. Some people saying twice a week, and that's just not me with my plant care. So for now, I know you guys might be cringing, I'm not going to put this on a moss pole. It's just going so well here, and I actually like the randomness of how it's growing. I'm so happy with the fenestrations of it. And actually last night when we had people here, so you can actually see in this window from our barbecue area. I won't show you because I'm actually filming this video instead of cleaning up from last night. It's not too bad, but yeah, there's some stuff that needs to go in the recycle bins. Anyway, a few of my friends looked in here and actually said, is that Monstera real, Mel? That's amazing. And I said, yeah, thanks. No, it's definitely my MVP for the year. And then I explained to them, because what they couldn't see from outside is that I do supplement it. I don't know how bright and annoying that might be I'm just trying to show you. See how I do have the grow lights in behind it? I've had to put the blind down to film this for you because there's too much light coming through that window. It gets beautiful morning light, but I actually found it wasn't quite enough. So I do have the grow lights, the Guthrie grow lights sitting in behind it, which actually means now that I can put these little plants on my side table as well that I couldn't grow there before. But it is just, you know, my Monstera has just come to life. So definitely MVP 2024, my good old school Monstera. Just love this plant. And then walking into my ensuite, yes, I've got lots of plants in my bathrooms just because that's where my Soltec grow lights are. So the plants I wanted to show you in here is definitely my pink princess. So I mentioned that in December I always do a bit of a plant clean out because otherwise I'll just end up with so many plants. Over the years I get propagations from friends. I've got the plant library, you know, we do plant swaps, and also I can't help myself. I go to the nursery and I buy plants. So just like you try and do with your wardrobe, once a year I go through and I think, what plants are making me happy? What plants are enjoying living here that aren't too hard to care for? And plants that aren't, if they're not healthy, please don't cringe. They go in the compost bin. If they've been struggling and they're not healthy, oh, I can see a yellow leaf. I need to clip that off after I finish the video. But any plants that are healthy, I try and give them to friends at Christmas time because I've always got like jute and Christmas twine. And so I just do them up for people to give to other people for gifts. And that always goes down really well because, you know, Christmas can be so expensive for people. So anyway, goodness, that was a long story. I'm not sure about this Philodendron pink princess. So for now, it stays, but you can see how big it is. So this latest leaf is like, that's his latest leaf. How cool is that? When I got this plant like 12 months ago, I was absolutely in love with it. And I still love it, but I'm worried about the space that it's eventually going to take up because see here, I've probably got about one more pot size that I can go up. And the good thing is this stand is adjustable. I can adjust the height of it. I can move it down a little bit here and I can move some of the other plants around. But it's this that's going to be the limiting factor. It's only going to be able to do about one more pot size. And once it gets that big, just not sure where it's going to go. We'll just have to wait and see. And look, there's another leaf. Looks like there's another leaf. Can you see that? I'm really bad at camera work. Sorry guys, I am trying to work on that. There's another leaf about to come out. I wonder if it's going to be as big and pretty as this one. Yeah, they're so pretty. I've just got something about pink variegation. And then the other one I've got to show you, I'm just going to bring it up here. This is one of my recent additions. So this is my, oh goodness, mind blank, Begonia Rex Escargot. And we've had a little bit of a journey, this plant and I. So it initially started out in our hallway. It was getting the right amount of light in the hallway. And I had heard, I'd done lots of YouTubing and research on these guys. And I had heard that they could be quite fussy about humidity. And I thought, oh, we live in Southeast Queensland. Ask anyone who lives here at this time of the year, it is super humid. I don't think it was humid enough, and hence why I've moved it into the ensuite. So it's had two other locations. I've kept this leaf on for you just to show you. I'll clip it off after this video, but see this? It didn't matter where I put it before I put it in the ensuite. The leaves were doing this. So initially I thought, oh no, you've got the watering wrong. So I kept a really close eye on the watering. It wasn't that it was getting underwatered. Oh, I see, and I've got it in pond. I've moved it into pond as well. And it's going, oh my goodness, it's going so well down in the space I just showed you. I'm actually about to have to put in another shelf here so that it can fit So all the leaves were doing this, every single one of them. I've clipped all the other leaves off that look like that, but I wanted to leave that one on to show you, just to show you what it looks like when they're not getting enough humidity. And that's sort of what's happening to the other Rexy in my toilet as well. I just don't think that it's got enough humidity in the toilet versus the ensuite. So it's about to come in here as well. Look at that leaf. I'm going to show you a photo. It's got this beautiful like pink fur across it, which is really hard to show in a video. So I'll put a photo up, but oh my goodness, I just love this plant. So for me, Syngoniums, I've just fallen in love with the genus of plants, but this plant, I think it's my favorite new plant. So, and it makes me smile, just like the Monstera. And I'm so glad that we've worked out our differences and that it's just thriving. So same problem I have with my Philodendron. It's just not going to fit on this caddy for very long. So one of my plant friend actually, who was over last night and commenting on the mini Monstera, said to me, Mel, and I'm just going to turn around, I've got all this spare wall. You're looking at just a blank wall, but there's all this space and I've got these beautiful Saltec grow lights in here. So I'm actually about to get 2 of those suction shelves, and what that will mean is I'll be able to put this guy and also the other Rexy that's in our toilet up on that shelf, so that they'll have lots of room to grow and they'll have lots of humidity and beautiful light to grow. So hopefully in the January video, I'm going to be able to show you the shelf over there with my Begonia Rexys on them out looking happy. And I'll clip this leaf off before the next video as well. Before we leave the ensuite, I wanted to show you a not so good story. So I bought a 3rd Rexy and it came unwell. It just didn't look right from the start. It was really floppy, but the Escargot was floppy too. So this guy was floppy when it arrived in the mail as well. And so when this one arrived and it was a bit floppy, I was like, that's okay, we've been here before, I've got this. No, I'll show you in the B-roll, but it just got worse and worse and worse. And now you can see it is literally down to a stump. This still feels alive, this bit. But I don't have high hopes. I've checked the roots. The roots are looking a bit dark and root rotted. I've got it in my ever faithful aroid mix, and basically just like I was talking about with the mini Monstera, this is my last ditch attempt. So it's in my soil that I have lots of confidence in. It's under beautiful Saltec grow lights. I'm going to give it a few weeks, and if it doesn't come to, it's going in the compost, because I haven't had a plant get to this stage for a very long time. And even though this stump feels like there's some life left in it, I'm not too hopeful, guys. I think in my January video, it's going to be a farewell. But you know, positive thinking. We'll give it a few more weeks and see how it goes. All right, next room. So welcome to my everything room. I'll make this the last room for the tour for today. Otherwise this video is just going to be way too long. And I call it my everything room. It's a really small room. I've got my treadmill in here that I use every day. And then you can see I'm really short. So I put my dryer in here. I have trouble reaching it when it's hanging on the wall. And so then of course I've used it. It's a horizontal space. So I've used it as a plant stand, which is just beautiful when I'm doing my treadmill every day. I'm just loving it. But then the exciting thing is I haven't been able to put plants on my bookcase, because you can see that so I get beautiful morning light here through the window, but over here it gets too dark, and I got myself some new grow lights. If anyone is surprised, which I don't think you are, because I'm a massive fan of grow lights. The only problem I'm having with it, you can see I might have to get a new light fitting. You see this light, it only moves up and down. So I'm hoping that by reflecting it on the wall, there's enough light reflecting back off for these plants. We will see. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get another light fitting. This one doesn't actually match a lot of the light fittings that we have in our house anyway. A lot of the light fittings that we have move around a lot more. They're a lot more mobile. So look, it's time it needs to be changed anyway, but I'm hoping for now just reflecting it off the wall and then reflecting it on the plants will be enough. These two here are just 2 plants that I want to show you. They actually live in other locations in my house, but just so I'm not dragging into every room in our house, I brought them in here so that I can talk to you about them. So it's just this shelf really that I'm going to slowly start putting some plants on once I see if this is enough light. So it's really exciting. I got them from Dr. Green Thumbs, which is where I get all of my soil and my mab growth from. From memory, they were less than $50, which is just amazing for grow light bulbs. Are these ones that can screw into the standard E27 sockets. So I thought, you know, they're absolutely worth a go. I was so excited when I found them. The only main thing that I've noticed between these and my other grow lights, which actually works really well in here because I like the brightness. This is quite a dark room, being so small and really tall brick walls. It's not a warm white light. It's a bit brighter. It's more like of a daylight sort of vibe, but I think it worked really well in here because I'm wanting to use this in daylight, and behind me is my desk. This is the wall that you guys look at when I'm filming, and I often do a green screen so you don't get to see it very much, but so I just wanted to show you the grow light here. But the other two plants that I wanted to show you that, as I said, don't normally live here. This is my variegated cast iron plant. They are well known for growing really slowly. So I got this as a tiny little clipping off Etsy quite a while ago. This is one of its OG leaves. It finally grew 2 or 3 leaves, and I was so happy because it took so long to get there. And then we had a foster puppy, and I kept this leaf on it just to show you guys. He shredded it. So that's puppy teeth. And it was literally laying out in the yard, completely out of its pot, 1 leaf left. And you know that he chewed on the roots, and I just thought, oh goodness, I don't know if this plant's going to come back. But just this spring, while spring hit, how many new leaves have we got here? 4. We've got 4 new leaves. Amazing. Oh, just so happy to see it. And look at this beautiful one. This is the latest one. You can finally start seeing the variegation come through. For a long time, I wasn't sure. I purchased it as a variegated cast iron plant, and it was so small, those variegations just weren't obvious, and I thought, oh, I wonder if they have actually sent me a variegated version. But this is definitely, I'm starting to see it come through now, and I'm just so excited that it's finally got these new leaves. So I think I probably am about to cut this leaf off with the puppy teeth. I don't know, what do you guys think? It's starting to get old. It's got a yellow tip. It's got the puppy's teeth. I think I am probably going to cut it off and just let these new leaves grow. I haven't transitioned this one over to pond. It's because it is a slow grower. I find it's not as thirsty as a lot of my other tropical plants, and I am only having to water it once a week, even in summer. So I'm happy with that. I've kept it just in my normal aeroid mix. It's going really well. And then this guy, so this is a Philodendron Birkin. So I got this plant out of the plant library, and same, it was tiny. And I didn't really know what it was. I knew it was a Philodendron, but I didn't know what type. And because I was being good and I was doing my December clean out, I was deciding, okay, well, I'm not really attached to this plant. You know, it's going so well. Look at it. It's got all these new leaves coming, but I just couldn't picture what it was going to look like when it got bigger. So it went on the maybe pile to get rid of in December. But then I'm so glad. So I've got a plant app, Identify This, I think it's called, where you can take a photo of the plant and it identifies it for you, tells you what type it is. So it identified this as a Philodendron Birkin, and then I Googled it and I went and had a look at mature Birkins, and I was so glad that I did because I actually fell in love with the pictures that I saw online. I'm so grateful to the internet. So this plant has gone off my maybe list and it's now on my keep list, and I've actually got it outside in my back area underneath the filtered light that my plants love so much. So it is on my plant overflow shelf at the moment because I don't have a spot for it, but it is definitely not in my to be gifted list. And same, I've actually just got that because it's in a bit bigger pot. It's just in my good old faithful aeroid mix as well, and you can see the roots are it's just going so well. I'm just so glad I looked at the mature plant. Otherwise I mightn't have had this guy anymore. I try and be good every year because otherwise I would just end up with so many plants, and then when you have that many plants you just can't look after them properly. As it is, I probably am pushing it with the amount of plants that I have. This package arrived, which is really cool because it feels like a book, and I haven't ordered any other books, so I'm hoping this is my latest plant book. I love reading plant books. I know I'm such a plant nerd. So I saved it and I thought, let's open it together. My family aren't going to be excited if this is a plant book, but I thought maybe you guys will be. So let's open it together. Hopefully it is my plant book. Yep, it's the book. How cool is this title? Plants are my favorite people. Have you guys read this? Has anyone read this? I don't know very much about it, except I just thought, how could you not want a book that was called Plants Are My Favorite People? Because plants are definitely, well, plants and dogs for me are definitely my favorite people, some of my favorite people. So the author is Alyssa Resta. There's a relationship guide for plants and their parents. What does the blurb on the back say? Plantstagrammer and Instagrammer Alyssa Resta, aka the apartment botanist, has distilled everything you need to know to start and grow your collection. Oh, how exciting. I might make myself a cup of chai after this and start reading. Welcome to the plant fam. That's it for my planty tour today. Editing Mel is actually a bit worried when I put all of these together that it's still going to be a bit long, and I might have to do some serious cutting, some serious work to make it not as crazy long. But if you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around until this part of the video. I hope you picked up a few tips and tricks, or if nothing else, maybe done some plant tours yourself while I was running you through some of my updates. I'd always love to hear from you in the comments. Have you got any plant stories, any favorite plants of 2024, any plants on your wish list for 2025? Please leave me comments below. My channel is small. I read and respond to every single one of them. And as always, until my next video, take care and remember you totally got this.